One planet, 7.3 billion people, only one you. Life offers us many opportunities and learning experiences. Are you ready to explore and discover this beautiful planet, the life and energy all around us, the spiritual world, and what is unseen, along with your own personal soul adventure? Marc Lainhart, the Intuitive Prospector, is the spiritual connection you have been prospecting for. Internationally known as a tested and professional clairvoyant medium and spiritual advisor, Marc's work as a metaphysical teacher, medical instructor, radio show host, inspirational writer, and hiking guide are here to help you on a journey of self-discovery, healing, inspiration, education, and a whole lot of spiritual awesomeness. Dare to dream, dare to explore, dare to live. For more information on Marc's spiritual practice in Seattle, Washington, please visit marclainhart.com or internet search The Intuitive Prospector.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, ignition, liftoff.
All right. Hey, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you may be in this beautiful, shifting, transformative, healing planet of ours. This is Monday morning. That means it's another edition of Metaphysical Mocha Mondays, catering to your encouragement, your inspiration, your motivation, where we cover everything under the sun, from medicine to metaphysics to meditation to mindfulness to mediumship to magic to miracles. The show is every Monday morning at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, here on the Intuitive Prospector page and also over on my YouTube channel called Soul Adventures. I am your host, Marc Lainhart, the Intuitive Prospector, here to help you through the week, get you inspired, get you thinking outside the box, but also helping you to work to discover that diamond in it, that diamond within. I always say, dare to dream, dare to explore, dare to live, and discover the diamond within. So how is everybody doing this morning? If you're new to the show, smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, turn on the notifications, because I'm not only live here in Metaphysical Mocha Mondays, I do surprise shows called Spiritual Takeout. Sometimes I come on for my Inspired Living radio show. So it's a good way just to follow along. If you're looking for, different answers, or you're looking for a transformation, or you're looking for a sense of healing, or education, or knowledge, or learning, a lot of what I share with you in my almost 50 years around the sun now is just a lot of my own soul adventures and experiences, and share those with you, and you take them for what they may be. Some call me crazy, some other call me for my advice and mentorship. So it always just depends. So this morning we're going to be talking about Kobe Bryant, the late great Kobe Bryant, and there's a couple quotes I want to share with you this morning, and I'll get into that, why I'm going to be talking about his message specifically. And the message this morning, let me pull it up here. I did have it on my notes here. I usually don't take notes. But today I kind of was like just thinking about everything from, when I do my Qigong and my meditation in the morning, I think about what the message is, what's resonating with society, what's resonating out in consciousness. And for those of you that followed my work for a couple of years now, you know that sometimes the things that I see are not yet caught up to our reality. And I'll be talking about that in a little bit more detail, from the aliens to the presidential election, to the possible civil war, things that I see in my meditations and my visions that I have to wait to society to catch up, the physical world to catch up to the spiritual world. So for example, a lot of us are in the 2-dimensional and 3-dimensional aspects of our consciousness. And the body stays here, but the consciousness has the ability, dreaming, astral traveling, meditation, biofeedback. We have the ability to go to other places. And a lot of times the spiritual stuff that I'm talking about is in what we call the 5th dimension. A lot of the work is done in a different consciousness, a different way. And you just sometimes have to wait for things to catch up. And this morning, I wanted to remind you of what the late, great Kobe Bryant said. And he said this: the most important thing is to try to inspire people so that they can be great in whatever they want to do. And that's a lot of my work as an inspirer, as an influencer, as a life coach, as a psychic, as a medium, as a spiritualist. That is the most important thing, is to try and inspire people so that they can be great at whatever you're doing out there in this life, whatever you're ever doing out in this big world of ours. And there's a lot going on in the world. And, a lot of the reason I started my show a few years ago for Mocha Mondays was I realized by taking my Myers-Briggs profile who I truly am. And sometimes that takes age to really move into what your authentic self is. Sometimes that takes experiences. In this case, for me, it was trauma and tragedy that opened my eyes, that opened my brain to think of life in a completely different way. For those of you that have followed my work, or for those of you that are new to the show, I didn't always do this work. I was actually in a very much life-saving rescue type of way, from the Coast Guard and the fire service. So working with people, and I still to this day, I work in healthcare. I'm a certified healthcare provider that I work part-time outside of here, and been doing that for 25 years, which I enjoy. I enjoy teaching. I enjoy certifying people in CPR and first aid and AED, and then with my part-time federal day job in healthcare inspections. So I enjoy that because it kind of helps balance that analytical mind when I'm, like today, I'm in the spiritual right hemisphere of the brain that Einstein talked about. Tomorrow I'll be back at my day job and I'll be more in the left hemisphere of my brain, where I'm working with, data and writing reports and doing administrative stuff and, kind of shifting and having meetings. So I really like the balance of going, and I always recommend that people do that. But whatever you do, be the best, whatever inspires people, whatever pays it forward. We're in such a society now where everything just seems to be a lot of half-truths, a lot of propaganda. I just remind people with where we're at, especially on social media. I've found this the last 2 years. I've watched this evolve. I watched this grow, and you are completely entitled to your opinions. But social media is a big problem because everybody wants to be opinionated. And the reason I'm saying that is because Kobe Bryant, who is one of the greatest basketball players to ever play the game. Yesterday when they enshrined him into the National Basketball Association's Hall of Fame, one of the greatest players to ever play the game, Michael Jordan, was standing up on the stage because Kobe was just something special. Kobe had a desire, a discipline, a belief to be the best that he could be. And he took a lot of opinions. He took a lot of attacks. He took a lot of pundits, a lot of skepticism. That is the world. But I just remind people that you are completely entitled to your opinions, even if they're not supported by evidence. And I see a lot of that, especially when it comes to healthcare in this pandemic and getting the vaccination. I've seen it personally. I've been attacked personally within my colleagues and family and friends who, for some reason just don't believe in this pandemic or don't believe in the science of vaccinations and how it's helped us through history. You can just go back to history and see how medicine and science and technology has helped us to get out and to get back to this new normal. But like I said, from 2 years ago, we're not going back to the same normal that we once knew. The transformation, the shift has taken place, and we're in the digital transformation. We're in the consciousness of, people being treated equally and fairly and a wage that allows them to, be able to survive in life. That's a lot of the changes that are taking place. Even how we look at our interaction with the earth and the planet and our technologies, we move into the space capitalization, the space race to Mars and the moon and everything that's going on with that. But even just how people are communicating through social media. But, the moment you spread that opinion as fact, the truth is you're really becoming a liar. If you know that what you're spreading through social media is not backed by science, it's not backed by facts, that 2 + 2 is 4, the world is round and the sky is blue. Those are facts that we can agree upon. But I see a lot of people just sharing, their opinions as facts. And I always tell people, if I'm wrong, don't belittle me, educate me, help me to become the better version of myself that Kobe was. Yesterday, he wasn't there to thank everybody, but his wife, had spoke on his behalf, and he thanked the people that were, rallied against him and tried to bring him down, because that only made him better. And, with what I've seen in the last 2 years, especially on social media and doing shows like this on social media and my YouTube channel, I get opinions from time to time. I get attacks from time to time, but I want to be the Kobe of what I do. I want to be the Kobe Bryant. And I know when I have that mindset, I know that I'm going to be attacked and people are going to give me their opinions, because what I do isn't agreeable, especially, if you're very into religion. I always say I know my scripture, but I'm not a preacher. So we can have debates about that. But I would like to see people getting back to more civil debates versus arguments, and to stop spreading the lies. Because, if you spread something that is a lie as a fact, and it's not supported by evidence, and it's not supported by science, and it's not supported by and I'm not talking about opinion pieces. I'm talking about like medical journals. I'm talking about metadata and stats that support, like, for example, what the vaccination is doing for the population. You're not going to die 2 to 3 years from now. You're not going to turn into a zombie. The latest thing I see, people putting a magnet over the shot like there's some sort of Bill Gates nanotechnology in there. That's just BS, you guys. It's all BS. I'm not pushing an agenda. If you're anti-vax, I understand that. Some people are anti-vax, but I've seen firsthand where it saved lives. And I've gotten my vaccination. I get my second one this week, and it's just going to help me to go back out into society and enjoy life without the fear that I'm going to die from COVID. Doesn't mean I'm not going to get COVID, but not by getting it and having vaccinations, it's not going to put me right in the hospital on a ventilator and the chance of dying, which has killed over 500,000 people here in America and 3.3 million people around the world. And those numbers aren't even accurate. So I'm going to get back to life. I'm still going to wear my mask, and I'm still going to, just be diligent, because I don't trust people, to be honest, especially when it comes to public health care. And especially when people have politicized this, which you should never politicize public health care. It's us as humans, it's us as people, it's us as community. And unfortunately, politics has done a really good job of doing that. But if you spread a fact knowing it's not supported by evidence, you're not only a liar, but you're also fraud in what you're doing. So I'd like to see us moving together. What I have long talked about, the great coming together, and really stay in your truth. And if you don't know it to be truth, then don't say anything. But that's just social media today. I see it, I'm over on TikTok, I'm on Instagram. I see a lot of it where a lot of it's just, BS. And I would say, if you don't know something, the way that I approach this, if I don't know something, I usually go learn about it, whether it's history, whether it's numerology, whether it's spirituality, where it's science, something I don't know about. What did I just do recently? Somebody had asked me about something, and I'll say I can't speak to that because I don't know about that. But if you ever want to talk about history, if you ever want to talk about the U.S. Constitution, if you ever want to talk about healthcare and vaccinations and the truth and the science behind that, I work here at Harbor View Medical Center here in Seattle, Washington, the same place that the White House and both administrations, I don't speak for either administration, I don't get into politics, are using that data to show that the vaccinations are working and people are surviving. So this is, kind of the Kobe Bryant dedication show, because I have, believe it or not, I have an actual rookie card that I'd gotten years ago, signed by Kobe Bryant, number 8, before he was 24. And I've always read it. I've always watched his journey. And now he passed tragically and quick into spirit, but he always said that he would die young. He did say that. And I followed him because I grew up playing basketball. I grew up playing high school basketball, 3 years in varsity, a couple of years at community college, a couple of years in the U.S. Coast Guard. And I really enjoyed the game of basketball. It's like a game of chess, if you will, how people move on a floor. It's like soccer, and it's a contact sport. So there's some physicality to it. But to watch Kobe Bryant do what he did and to put up with all of this stuff, but still have an attitude to really challenge people to be the best version of themselves. Kobe is somebody that I will always look up to and somebody I will always mention on my journey. He always said, this is the moment I accept the most challenging times will always be behind me and in front of me. He also said, everything negative, pressure, challenges, it's an opportunity for him to rise. And that's what today's message is. Everything negative, the pressure. Remember, if there's no pressure, there's no diamond. I always help people to find that diamond within. But if there's no pressures of life, and there's a lot of different pressures out there in life, the world can be a violent place. I can speak to it firsthand. If you ever want to talk about, murder, if you ever want to talk about cancer, if you ever want to talk about multiple sclerosis, these are all things that have impacted. You ever want to talk about COVID-19, almost, killing some of my family members, we can talk about that. I've lost a friend to COVID in New York. So you can take that as negative, but what I'm here to tell you today with Metaphysical Mocha Mondays, because we cater to your inspiration, we cater to your encouragement, we cater to your motivation for the week ahead, is take everything negative, those pressures, those challenges, those comments, those opinions, and it's an opportunity for you to rise. It's an opportunity for you to get stronger, because what doesn't kill you does make you stronger. And like I said, today's message, as Kobe said, the most important thing is to try and inspire people so that they can be great in whatever they want to do. And I always tell people, that's what I want for you. You can't compete with me because I want to see you be successful. It's not a competition for me. Maybe back in the day when I first started, there was some ego and some confidence and some, competitiveness. That's all ego based. Not anymore, you guys. That's not where I'm at in my journey. And I just want to see people be happy. I want to see people be healthy. I want to see people be successful. And even in that context, even in that verbiage that I said right there are people that are going to attack you based on you have an agenda or you're trying to be nefarious or make money off people. Not at all. I think that winning takes precedence over all, and there's no gray area, no almost. It's kind of like, Yoda, do or do not. There is no try. It's like life and death. You're either alive or you're dead. Now, some people I may wonder if they're still alive but walking dead, but you know what I'm saying? The laws of physics, you're either here or you're there. And once you know what failure feels like, determination chases success. I've long said that failures are the stepping stones to your success and whatever you want to do with that. So that's today's message. We forgot about our coffee because it's Mocha Mondays, and without Mocha Mondays, it wouldn't really be a good Mocha Monday. So cheers to you. Grab your coffee, grab your tea. Let's move into the magic of the moment. If you want to learn more about who I am, my backstory, my education, my experiences, you can always go to marclainhart.com. You can internet search the Intuitive Prospector and read, how I'm aligned to some professional directories, my articles, get on my newsletter that's out, Soul Adventures. This month, I'm talking about signs from our loved ones. Next month, I'm going to be talking about how the breath is the manifestation of our soul. And I'm also going to be talking about aliens. So you guys may notice I have my alien shirt on. Yes, I've been talking about, and these are all the different aliens known to us as far as storytelling or theory or hypothesis or fact. And I'm wearing that today because I've been talking since 2019 when I did my first prediction show, the Roaring Twenties, that we would be made aware of intelligence outside of our own knowing, of our own understanding. It doesn't mean tall green men and it doesn't mean little green men. But yesterday, if you watch 60 Minutes, I've been, if you follow my work, you know that I always do the drip, drip, drip. When the report came out from the Pentagon back in 2019 that they had definitely unclassified video, and then confirmed they couldn't identify what that was on the video. They call it unidentified aerial phenomenon, or UAPs, which the layman's terms in the public would be known as UFOs. And yesterday on 60 Minutes, a very major news channel did a report on the actual report that's being released next month of what the government knows, and a lot of us have known for years. To think that we're alone in this universe is pretty arrogant and pretty naive in my opinion. But I've had connections, I've had experiences where it tells me that we're not alone. I've seen things, I've felt things, I've tuned into things. Not to be anything nefarious or scared of, because if they traveled all this way just to take us out, then that seems pretty not very intelligent to me, to be honest with you. If they can travel here, that means they have intelligence and technology that surpasses our own. And yesterday on 60 Minutes, they interviewed the 4 pilots. These were F-18 pilots back in 2004. They were off the coast of San Diego on the carrier, the Nimitz. And this guy is a top-notch pilot. I mean, he went to Top Gun. He was a squad leader. His co-pilot was right there with him. And they said they never thought they'd be on national television talking about unidentified aerial phenomenon. And he said whatever it was the size of their F-18, but it was like a tic-tac shape. Didn't have any propulsion, didn't have any wings, and it was able to match his maneuvers verbatim. And he said it wasn't something that we would be able to make in our time, in our technology, including our enemies. If our enemies had that type of technology, it's a national security issue. Because they said, this pilot said that for the last 2 years, they've been seeing UAPs almost every single day. And they have tracking, they can track them. And he said, the director, even one of the directors of intelligence of the Department of Defense came on, who's a very high profile position and who has since retired, said in his role, he could not explain what they were seeing, but the way that it behaved is not in the ways of physics that we understand. It doesn't behave in our Earth's gravity the way that we would think of humans interacting. So it's not a drone. It would go, thousands of miles per hour and shift and be 60 miles away in a matter of seconds. And that's what the F-18 pilot said. He followed it down. He went down to the water because they were called to investigate. This part of the ocean was all blue and there was just a big patch of white water turbulence. And so they went down to investigate it. And this little tic-tac, the size of his plane, started matching everything that he did. And then it came at him and it disappeared. And then it was tracked 60 miles away seconds later. So there's something that the government realizes that is taking place. And like I said in my prediction show, 2 years ago and last year, and I'm still saying it now, I call it the drip, drip, drip. It's slowly dripping out to where we're going to finally be aware of, what we call full disclosure. Whether we've had first contact, I think that we personally have. I think a lot of our technology that we have today, for example, is based on reverse engineering of a culture or of technology, whether it was agreed upon or we discovered from a crash landing. That's just what we do as humans. We're very curious. We're explorers. I think that the space exploration with the rockets that's been going on with the International Space Station, it's all taken place right in the last, few years. But the development has been in play. SpaceX has been into play for, several years. But that case that they talked about in 60 Minutes took place in 2004. And they filed this report because there was 4 of them that actually saw this situation. And this is what they're telling on 60 Minutes. And it got buried. And so for years, we know that the government is not willing to share with us what they know about intelligent life, because they know once the cat's out of the bag, it changes everything. Philosophy, technology, science, religion, how we look at the world. And I've talked about this great coming together in part of my predictions as well. I've talked about full disclosure. I've talked about first contact. I've talked about the great coming together. I've talked about sustainability, self-mastery, homeostasis. But in order to get this great coming together, because it seems like we're very far apart in our country and around the world with all the chaos and the war going on in the Middle East now and the pandemic and the politics, something's going to have to bring us together. And again, I keep calling it the great coming together. I've done a couple podcasts on it. I will be doing a podcast and I'm on Inspired Living Radio talking about more in depth of what I know about intelligence outside of our own planet. So you can look up element 115 on the periodic table to realize that the periodic table of our elements has shifted over the years. We call it element 115. Some call it metamaterial. I think the report that comes out next month that the Senate has commanded that the Pentagon release officially through the Freedom of Information Act. I think there'll be a lot of references to metamaterial, which means material not of our planet, sourced elsewhere. And just look at how our flight and I look at some of our like current military, the industrial military complex in the last 20 years, the designs have radically changed. The design, the engineering have all changed, including our ships. Our ships, the ships that are coming out now look something out of Star Trek, something that, the writer of Star Trek, Gene Roddenberry, was writing about back in the 60s. But if you didn't check out 60 Minutes, I highly recommend that you do that. There's a report coming out next month. That's why I'm wearing my alien t-shirt, because like I said, I've taken a lot of opinions based on talking about first contact and full disclosure of what we know of intelligence outside of our own. And it's just, again, it's a drip, 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 and it's a matter of time. So you've got to be able to take, you got to realize that intimidation didn't really exist if you're in the right frame of mind. And that's what Kobe talked about. So, you've got to, look at, intimidation, because people are going to intimidate you with their opinions, their judgments. And you've got to just get in the right frame of mind and keep focused on what you're doing and keep going. Whether it's, whether you're working just a regular 9-to-5 job, be the best version of yourself today than you were yesterday and prepare to be the best version of yourself tomorrow. Whether you're, saving lives as a firefighter, as a nurse, as a doctor, being on the front lines with this pandemic, if you're a pilot, if you're a president, if you're a congressman, if you're a senator, try to be the best in who you are and serve the people, because in the end, it's going to come back to the people. So I kind of, I look past some of this political strife that's going on. And again, I personally believe it's going to probably lead us to an ideology civil war of some sort. Not what we witnessed in the first Civil War, but something along those lines based on what people believe and choosing a side in a corner. And it's unfortunate, but, you got to just be the best version of who you're, what you're doing and who you are, and just keep going regardless of what's happening around the world until the external world starts to impact your world. Keep doing you. Meet people where they're at. Kobe said, I'm only reflective only in the sense that I learn to move forward. I reflect with a purpose. So what's your purpose? What are you reflecting on your purpose? Kobe also said, I'm extremely willful to win, and I respond to challenges. It's not a challenge to me to win the scoring title, because I know I can. So what's your scoring title? What do you want to win in your life, in your relationships, in your career, in your family, in your health? He said that, the beauty is being blessed with talent is rising above doubters to create a beautiful moment. And I love that one, because I try every Monday to come here and create beautiful moments, regardless of people's opinions or sayings or comments on my page or behind the scenes. And a good morning to my team as well. I forgot to say good morning to you guys. They'll be over in the Healing Cafe with me here in just a few minutes. I'm going to try something new in the Healing Cafe. I haven't never done it before. Again, always pushing myself to be the Kobe Bryant of the work that I do. Kobe Bryant, somebody I've looked up to for many years. Like I said, I have his autographed rookie card that I'll keep as long as I can, probably pass it down to my family. But, he is somebody that inspired people, took a lot of opinions and a lot of judgment, but rose to be one of the best players to ever play the game. And, he said a lot of leaders fail because they don't have the bravery to touch that nerve or strike that chord. And sometimes I strike a chord. Sometimes I strike a nerve with people, and it's not, my intentions are never to do that in any kind of ill will or any kind of negativity or nefarious way. That's not who I am. It's not how I roll. But some people will always take that, including just recently, just had that experience. So I always try to, come from a place of kindness, caring, and compassion. And that's who I am as the Intuitive Prospector. And again, today's message, as we get ready for the Healing Cafe, I have a full cup of coffee because I've been talking so much. Just going to leave you with this message from Kobe, the late, great Kobe Bryant, who was enshrined into the Basketball Hall of Fame over the weekend with Michael Jordan, one of the greatest players to ever play the game, standing up on the stage to honor him. And he said the most important thing is to try and inspire people so that they can be great in whatever they want to do. So whatever you want to do, the secret is life. Why you're here is getting paid to do what you love, because we're the only species that pays to live here. So I hope that you're focusing and recasting and rethinking who you are and where you're going, because the next year ahead for us is going to be very transformative. It's going to be very shifting. Get ready for disclosure and what we know about life outside of our planet, which is going to be transformative in its own way as we move to the moon, as we move to Mars, as we explore, because it is who we are. So I hope that helps for today. Just remember, a lie doesn't become truth, wrong doesn't become right, and evil doesn't become good just because it's accepted by the majority. Rick Warren reminds us of that. So, follow your truth, follow your facts, follow your science, and try to be the best version of yourself that you can be, to contribute to our society, to community, to the planet, of becoming a species that's wise, educated, all-knowing, loving, kind, caring, just like the whales, just like the dolphins that reside in our oceans. So I hope that helps. I hope that resonates for you today. We'll get ready for the Healing Cafe. I hope that you have a great Monday morning. We're in the middle of May already, and you can join me this Wednesday for another episode of Inspired Living Radio, where I'll be talking about the soul and the breath, and how the breath is really a manifestation of our soul and consciousness, and that connection to something bigger than ourselves. So I hope that you'll join me for that. That's this Wisdom Wednesday through Om Times Radio. The link is at marclainhart.com. That's at 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. And we'll get ready for the Healing Cafe right now. In about 2 minutes, I'll be back for the Healing Cafe. Until our next soul adventure together, be kind, be caring, be compassionate, and most importantly, dare to dream, dare to explore, dare to live, and discover that diamond within. Have a great rest of your day and a fabulous week. Take care, everybody. Namaste.